So I was graduating in '07, but your story around 2000s would be one of these things where I was in biology. I didn't really study. I didn't come from the world of business when I entered hedge funds, but you read a lot. You sort of study up quickly, and I remembered studying up on the hedges you put on. It was interesting. So I would think that you and I are going to have really similar perspectives, certainly on private market inefficiency, bureaucracy, taking advantage of capitalism, the American
100%.
way. I think we're on the
100%.
same page there. So then I start seeing a couple years ago, and this is where we, I think, maybe begin to have some differences of opinion, where you, I think, end up on the, let's just say, the stakeholder capitalism side of the business debate, right? The call it, for lack of better description, the pro-ESG, the pro-diversity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's not go too far, right? It's just,
which is
I always look at it, what's best for my business? And if it's good for my business.
I agree with that.
If it's good for my business, I'm not going to ask anybody to legislate it, but I'm going to tell you what's good for my business. ESG is one way to categorize it, but to me, as it applies to ESG, you have young kids, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's an understanding, and my kids were younger back then, there's an understanding that you have to ask as a parent, what is the world your kids are going to live in, right? And to me, I believe climate change is real. I believe it's man-made. And if that is the case, I'm going to be for anything that mitigates that risk. Because there's nothing more important to me in the value chain, right, in my risk analysis and dealing with probability than what's going to create the best world for my kids.
So I'll say a word about my own views on climate change. We don't have to debate this because the more important part is the business part, although we can debate the climate change part too. So do I believe global surface temperatures are going up? Yes, I do. Do I believe that there are man-made causes that may be playing a role in that? It appears plausible that could actually be the case. However, I do not believe that is anywhere near an existential risk for humanity. And
so let's just talk probability. Okay, go ahead.
So just a couple facts, because you could put probabilities around it, but if you look at the hard realities, are 8 times as many people die of cold temperatures today rather than warm ones. The Earth is now covered by more green surface area today than it was a century ago because carbon dioxide is actually sustenance, plant food effectively. And the right answer to all of these temperature-related deaths, cold or hot, is more abundant and plentiful access to energy, which requires fossil fuels. So for that reason, what's that?
What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong?
So there's some tail problem.
What's because we don't know. Nobody knows for certain, right?
So the what if you're wrong argument, I can engage with that. Right? Because I think that's a legitimate. Even if there's a 1% chance you're wrong, how do you know? My only answer to that is you could be wrong in both directions, right?
Of course you can. Of course you can. But in my case, it costs money. In your case, my kids could be French fries, and their kids could have no chance.
So that debate's going to go on for a really long time, and I'm super interested in that. I've got a book coming out later this year evaluating all of the different angles on this for part of that. The part I'm interested in, though, for the business point, okay? Why should it be an individual business or a CEO that takes into account what they're doing for their own business to address climate change? Would that not make your business less competitive relative to Chinese peers?
Well, it depends.
None of whom, by the way, give the first care about climate change.